Hello and welcome to everyone once again, and all the viewers who are joining us to view these video interviews which we are bringing to you from the construction industry. We have a lot of experts with us from this industry who are some of the greatest minds who are helping us in understanding how to sail through during this tough time of the COVID situation. We have one very interesting topic today to discuss on this interview session, and this is CIDC's Construction Industry Database. I am Praveen Tiwari, your host for today's interview. I am General Manager at CIDC. And today, to discuss upon this topic, we have with us Shri Ashutosh Bhardwaj, Director Corporate Affairs at CIDC. It's great to have you once again, Shri Bhardwaj.
Namaskar.
Mr. Bhardwaj, please elaborate on the theme of the database.
Thank you so much, Praveen, for having me on your show, and a very good evening to all our audience. The database, the CIDC Construction Industry Database, as we all know, is on since 2010-11, and this is the second version of the database that is in vogue now. This is a national database where the theme is simple. It is looking at both sides of the equation, the demand side as well as the supply side. We work with vendors, we evaluate them, we do a due diligence of them, and post a very stringent exercise. We qualify them to be admitted into the database. The criteria is simple. Anybody who's able to deliver within costs, within time, and is adhering to good quality and norms, is sustainable, they are qualified through a process, and then their name is listed on the database, which is hosted on our website. And then we promote this database at various fora. We send it to project owners, project authorities, project implementers, and all stakeholders of the industry, so that they can choose good suppliers, vendors, contractors, construction companies, and work with them. Both the spectrums, if you look at, vendors want good organizations to work with, as well as organization needs good vendors who can supply them goods and services. So this, you can say, is a business matchmaking, and this is the theme of the database, where good vendors are uploaded and they are admitted into the system, and they work with good companies.
Mr. Bhardwaj, as you mentioned, that there is a possibility of a lot of rejections which might happen in the first attempt. Why is that so? Is there a way the process can be simplified?
Well, to mention, the process is simple. Adherence may be a challenge. Sometimes in life, if you see, simple things have a certain inherent simplicity that it becomes difficult to follow. So our guidelines are pretty much elaborative. They are self-explanatory, they are exhaustive, and we go out of our way also to facilitate anyone who would like to sit with us and understand the whole process. But having said that, our system of evaluation is such, which is into 3 or 4 stages. First is the notice for enlistment is issued in the national dailies, and we have the forms, etc., hosted on our website, or if somebody calls us, we send them on the email. We are supposed to fill out the form and put all the annexure, which is received by our secretariat, and then due diligence is given, which is called documentation review. Now, 60% of the cases you will see, they fail in completing the documentation as per the desired parameters. So that is one stage where the flag can be raised. But we give enough opportunity and explanations to everyone who actually sends us the application. Wherever the documentation is deficient, we point it out to them. And believe you me, at this stage, we only charge 50% of the processing fee, knowing very well that maybe some people won't be able to complete this. It's not because it is difficult, but it is quite methodical. Now, post that, basically, if the documentation is complete, then we qualify them for a site visit and a management interaction. Now, under that process also, it's a 360-degree due diligence where all the systems are basically vetted by two of our evaluators, expert evaluators. Where they go, they interact with their stakeholders, their bankers, their marketing team, their finance team, their HR team. They look at the numbers, they look at their business policies, they look at their sustainability, they look at how the CSR is being carried out if they are eligible to do that, and basically try to scan the environment and see what is the growth potential of the company and what has been its previous track record in delivering. Now, there basically, if you observe any deficiencies or if it is not coming up to our benchmarks, we give a prescription that look, these things need to be done, and we give the prerogative to the company to define by when they will be able to do it. Now, many of the organizations, in fact, I would say 50% of the organizations they are able to do it within that time frame they describe, and some are also doing it before and sending it. But some organizations, I don't know for what matter, maybe that needs some more amount of research and study, they fall out and they are not able to do that. So if they are not able to do it, we keep them active as a case for 1 year. And beyond that also, if somebody is not able to do, then we believe basically they are either not interested in the process or they don't want to actually complete it. So in such cases, first time you can say, if you take all the three parameters together, the management interaction, the site visit, and the documentation review, all three combined throw up a significant amount of rejections. And this basically we try to be available at all stages to clarify their doubts. And sometimes actually it also happens that maybe other things take precedence. The project work, the daily firefighting at the organization, or sometimes it also happens that one person who's been nominated as the nodal person to take up this exercise, maybe he or she leaves the organization or there is a change of guard, and then the whole thing takes a backseat. So such, I mean, it's a varied mix of combination of basically things that lead to a number of higher rejections in the first attempt.
Right. What we understand from you is that it's a very detailed process, but considering the situation which we are into in today's time, it's a very tough situation. Things are all locked down, not knowing how long this situation will last. Do you really think that practically it is possible to do the site visits, or what possible changes in the process you are doing to accommodate that?
Yes, very interesting aspect. In fact, what you have raised just now, we've been getting queries because this is the 11th phase of enlistments that is open. The call is open. We had to extend the call. Previously, it was 30th of March or 28th of February, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was March. So March, basically, we entered the entire country entered the lockdown. So we extended it till 31st May. But then having the extension of lockdown twice, now we have first thing that we've done is we have extended the call till 30th of June. And if need be, if more requests are there, we might extend it further. Travel per se is still not certain as to when the internal flights would start, when would actually the road transportation start across states. So yes, this is, I admit, this is a certain amount of uncertainty is there with any activity or process at the moment. But on the proactive side, what we have done is we have given it a thought, and we are doing the management interactions. At least they can be done on Skype or on Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever digital media you use. So that would be a preferred mode. The due diligence we can do that way, and we would be doing that. And post normalcy returning to the entire economy, we would focus on the site visit, which is a construction site for companies that are doing construction, And for manufacturing sector, we actually go and visit the plant. So that will have to be done physically. We cannot actually circumvent that. But in the interim, if we find that on management interaction, the companies have scored high, we may be giving a provisional certificate of enlistment subject to the site visit that will be done at a later stage. So this is what we have planned. And some of the site visits have already happened before the lockdown just now, which happened in March. So for them also, we are working out a strategy. The jury would convene on the e-platform and take a call. So definitely we would be providing all our support, and it would be a practical and rational method that would be chosen, so that our potential vendors are, or vendors who are already there or the renewals are due, they are not disadvantaged on any count.
Okay. And how do the listed companies gain from this listing, Mr. Bhardwaj?
Well, as I said, this is a national platform and international platform. If you visit our website www.cidcdatabase.com, you will see that there are three sets of people who are coming to this. One is the demand side, who are organizations who are our members or who are project owners. The government is the biggest actually procurer of services, etc. So one is the demand side, and one is the supply side, which is the vendors or potential vendors. Then a third segment, interestingly, on our website is also the registered users, which is a sizable number and growing by the day. And we've had some very good registrations for users from across the globe during this lockdown period, which means that basically more and more people are accessing this website. So that is the e-platform. Apart from that, we do a lot of events, where we actually invite all the vendors and the demand side, which is the procurers. So the demand and supply side basically sit together, have dinner, discuss, presentations are made, technical presentations on that day. And generally it's a 4-hour program where state governments, PSUs, and central governments, departments, and vendors across the nation, basically they congregate, they brainstorm, they discuss things, they discuss processes, and it is a very lively atmosphere and a platform where you can exchange cards and do some business networking. So these are some of the things basically which happen when you enlist as a vendor. Apart from that, on the website we have provided windows where they can advertise their products and services at a very nominal rate and at a very competitive price when you compare it with any other media. And the longevity and duration of that is placed on a site, the minimum is 1 month. So the redundancy or basically loss of site, your ad, if it comes, it stays there. So these are some of the platforms. Apart from that, all CIDC events and all our sister councils and organization events, etc., we make it a point and to talk about the vendor database. And so happens with all the foreign delegations that come to our organization for meetings, and when our teams travel overseas, we try to promote the database to all the stakeholders. So these are the way basically where your brand, your product gets a wider publicity. There is no sales pitch in the database listing. We don't say that basically you come and list here and then you start getting inquiries and orders. No, our database is a platform where you reach out to a wider and a meaningful audience across the globe who come to know about your product, your service, your organization. And on our website, basically, we have given one dedicated page microsite to each of our vendors who are listed there. So they can basically display their information and product description and services so that people are able to read it and connect to them. So these are some of the measures that we take where the listed organizations gain from them. And the fact that this has an annual renewal, and we have a lot of people who even before we send them out the alert, they come to us and say a month before that our renewal is due, kindly basically start the process. So that means basically they are gaining. And many of the organizations have actually started endorsing this database. Over the years, you see some people prefer to take vendors from here. And if you visit the testimonial section of the website, there are n number of interviews which are hosted there, which are testimonials, and which will give you the three perspectives why organizations want to hire from CIDC database, why organizations want to advertise here, why they want to sponsor CIDC events, and how being a vendor has helped them. So I think for anyone basically who's coming to the database for the first time, the first touch point should be that section on the website, which will give them a deeper understanding of the whole concept and how it has worked and how people are gaining out of it. Rest, we are always there. Just pick up our phone and give us a call, and we'll connect with you and explain that things in detail.
Right, Mr. Bhardwaj, what I understand from your discussion that this, though being a very detailed process, but you mentioned that certainly not a one-time listing. There is a system of renewal which is there in this process. And
Yes.
as we know that most of the databases, it's a one-time listing. So renewal process, what is the total time given to the listing? Is it listing for about a year, or what is the total time of initial listing?
Yes, the entire architecture of the database that we have created, these are some of the things that we have ingrained into the whole process. Like there's a lot of redundancy when you look at databases. Many a time when you actually pick up the details and you call them, there's no one to pick up the call, or the numbers have changed. Many a times when you land up, I mean, this happened with us also. In particular with me also, it has happened that one of the organizations wherein CIDC was listed as a training provider, and our name was listed at the 7th or 8th serial number. And they came to us one day. They called and they came to us and they met me and they asked. So I asked them, okay, how did you basically not go to the first 7 and you came to us at 8? So he said, okay, look, and this is a real example that I'm quoting you. He said, okay, look, I called up the number 1 and number 2, and nobody was there to pick up the phone. Number 3, when I called, it said the number, somebody picked up the phone, but they said the office is not here. Similarly, he gave me explanation for everything, and then he said, okay, when I picked up a call, there was an operator who actually talked, who asked questions, and who connected me to you, and then you invited me to have a cup of tea and come over to the office, and I find basically all people are here working, and it looks like some business is happening at this place. So that is how we came. So this is one of the thought process we have actually imbibed, and we made it sure that every year the database listing has to be renewed. Now, there are certain caveats. Like when a company lists for the first time, like year 2020, if they have listed, this would be valid for 12 months till 2021. Now, beyond that, there would be renewals every year, but the site visit and management interaction may not happen. It will happen till the third listing. That is year 1, they are listed. Year 2, no site visit. Year 3, no site visit. Year 4, again, there would be a site visit. But if year 1 and 2, there is a deviation of 20% in any of the parameters, then again the site visit is taken. This is primarily to ensure that you go meet the vendor and see basically if things are working out well, collect the information, data, pat him on the back, and showcase to the world that look, this company has grown and they are doing some good work. So let the world know and let it be replicated. On the other hand, if they have slipped, then basically more the reason that you should go and see where you can actually handhold them and make them come to that level. So these are the intents. And one, to basically check the redundancy of the data, the renewal process is there.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bhardwaj. That's really been a very interesting conversation with you. You have really shared a lot of details about the CIDC's Construction Industry Database. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Praveen, and thank you, US.
And for our viewers, once again, I would say that please do like and share this video of ours. This is a very detailed information which must be spread across the industry, and everyone should know about the details of this database that this exists. And this is a detailed process which Mr. Bhardwaj has told us today. And if you really want to share some feedback, you can put that on the comment, and we'll definitely keep on bringing such interesting sessions for you. Thank you very much.